But first, the big exclusive we are bringing you for the first time on world television. CNN IBN's Manoj Gupta brings us the real picture of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This is what's happening inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The scale of protests against the government, never seen, never reported before. This is what we are bringing you, and this is what is happening. These images repeating over and over again. And these three areas in Pakistan where it's happening: Gilgit, Muzaffarabad, Kotli. We are bringing you images from these three places in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir tonight. Look at these visuals from Kotli. Well, these are exclusive images that CNN IBN has accessed, showing how the Pakistani government is using brute force to quell rebellion. Massive human rights violations in POK. First of all, let's bring you those exclusive images that we have accessed here on CNN IBN.
The Kashmir issue has been dictating Indo-Pak relations for decades. So much so, of late, Islamabad, including separatists in the dialogue process, derailed NSA-level talks. India protesting why separatists have a say. But Pakistan has maintained no peace process can be initiated without Kashmir on the talking table. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif even raising it at the UN with the Secretary General. But here's the twist. As Pakistan tries to make a case for Kashmir, its own house in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir seems to be in disorder. What you are about to see has never been seen on Indian television. CNN IBN has accessed shocking first-time footage of anti-Pakistan protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Take a look. These are protests in Gilgit, Kotli and Muzaffarabad areas of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where protesters are demanding freedom from Pakistan aggression. These cannot even be called sporadic protests. The swelling crowd and the police and army presence to rein them in, a clear indicator that these agitations are not one-off and are a force to reckon with.
पाकिस्तान बदमाश है, दहशतगर्द है, बदमाश हमारी कश्मीर में आकर दहशतगर्द है। यहाँ की पुलिस इनके साथ मिली हुई है, रिश्वत खा के इस्राएली है, अभी से हम इंडिया जाना चाहते हैं।
आजाद कश्मीर किसी भी आयन और कानून के रूप से पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा न था और न है।
What's more, CNN IBN learns that Pakistan has used brute force to crack down on the protesters over time, leading to massive human rights violations.
फसाद की जिम्मेदार इंतजामिया है, पुलिस एहलकार है जिन्होंने नेते अवाम पर फायरिंग की।
There have been reports of illegal detentions and disappearances of protesters as well. Unrest in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, demands for merging with India and the rising dissatisfaction with Pakistan considerably weakens Islamabad's Kashmir rhetoric against India. To top that, large-scale human rights violations and illegal detentions will now question the grounds on which Pakistan can claim rights for Kashmiris. With Manoj Gupta in New Delhi, this is Arunodaya Mukherjee.
Senior Associate Editor Arunodaya Mukherjee joining us live from New Delhi. Arunodaya, shocking is an understatement when you see images like these. A government in this day and age clamping down on its own people. What is happening inside POK?
Absolutely, Palki. And just at the outset, before I delve into these details, let me just tell you that you may have seen similar visuals that may have been doing the rounds on social media. But let me just tell you, those visuals may have been accessed by from other media outlets. But this visuals that CNN IBN is getting you tonight, right here exclusively, has been sourced right from the top, from responsible people, and that's what we're getting you today. We're also getting you reactions there from inside inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, the kind of reactions that you just got a brief trailer of. We're going to get you more of that in greater detail over the next 30 minutes. But Palki, let me just break this story down for you into three parts, three very important parts that this story needs to be looked at in that specific context. First up, just listen in to the kind of reactions that have come in. You heard a brief in the story that we just played out for you. But once again, to re-emphasize, what exactly are these people demanding? Why are they so angry against the Pakistani establishment will be made amply clear in the kind of reactions, angry reactions during those protests that you're now going to hear. Listen in.
आजाद कश्मीर किसी भी आयन और कानून के रूप से पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा न था और न है।
फसाद की जिम्मेदार इंतजामिया है, पुलिस एहलकार है जिन्होंने नहते अवाम पर फायरिंग की और
पाकिस्तान बदमाश है, दहशतगर्द है, बदमाश हमारी कश्मीर में आकर दहशतगर्द है। यहाँ की पुलिस इनके साथ मिली हुई है, रिश्वत खा के इसराइली है, कभी से हम इंडिया जाना चाहते हैं।
गुंडे बदमाशों को उठा के लेके आए उस कैंप में, हमारी बहनों को, हमारी बेटियों को, हमारी माओं के साथ उन्होंने ऐसी ज्यादती की है, डंडे बरसाए गए।
जब तक हमारी रियासत से पाकिस्तान की खूनख्वार एजेंसियां वापस नहीं जाती, जब तक यहाँ से लूट खसूट का बाजार खत्म नहीं होता, उस वक्त तक आप अपनी जिदोजहद जारी रखोगे।
The anger palpable there, Palki, and what you would also notice if you watch those visuals very carefully is that look at the number of protesters that are there. These are reactions not coming in from one-off individuals who've been picked up, who have simply recorded a reaction on their mobile phones. These are reactions picked up from people who are part of a larger protest. As you're now going to see in the second part that I'd like to focus on in this CNN-IBN investigation is the number of people who have gathered here for the protest. It does not. You will be able to tell for yourselves when you see these visuals that these are not engineered protests, these are not sporadic protests, neither are these one-off protests. Just look at the number of people who have gathered on several occasions requiring the police as well as the army in Pakistan to be called in. That's how serious these protests are, Palki. They were simply not relegated to one particular police station in these specific areas. The army as well as forces of the paramilitary had to be called in to quell these protests. Just to give you a sense of how serious in nature were these protests, take a look at these visuals. You'll be able to tell for yourselves the number of people who've gathered here, stretching for kilometers. Take a look.
मांगे तेरा नाम प्यारा है, नाम प्यारा, इस दौर का नारा, इस दौर का नारा, हर दौर का नारा। आजाद में मांगे आजादी, कितने मांगे आजादी, हम सब क्या चाहते आजादी, हम सब
पाकिस्तान से लेंगे आजादी, पाकिस्तान से लेंगे आजादी, इनका बाप भी देंगे।
You know, Palki, in Kashmir, you would have seen visuals every Friday of a handful of protesters waving Pakistani banners, waving banners of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa. You can actually count those protesters on your fingers. But take a look at the kind of protest that we're now getting you visuals of from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The crowd swelling from street to street, angry, protesting against the police, and one can't emphasize it enough, the way in which the forces, the Pakistani forces, had been called in to quell these protests. As you're now going to see in the third crucial part, putting this entire story into perspective, which accuses Pakistan of human rights violations on a massive scale. The way in which they have tackled these protesters repeatedly is shocking, as you're going to see in these visuals now, and this at a time when Pakistan has repeatedly raised the question of Kashmir. So the big question that we take away from all of this, as you're going to see, and the question that's going to strike you as well, is on what moral ground is Pakistan preaching Kashmir issues relating to the Kashmiri people on an international platform against India. Take a look at the kind of police brutality, army brutality being carried out against the people of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
मारो
आगे प्रोटेक्शन ले लो, आगे प्रोटेक्शन ले लो।
हुकूमत पाकिस्तान आजाद कश्मीर से इसकी पुरजोर मजम्मत करते हैं और ये
Pakistan repeatedly trying to invoke the issue of Kashmir whenever India has tried to make attempts at peaceful negotiations, peaceful talks. Pakistan there raising the question of Kashmir. But after you've seen this investigation, seen this report, can Pakistan continue to do that on moral grounds? Several questions. Back to you, Palki.